Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, banger management, fantasy hockey podcast. Woo! Woo! Korean woo.
Woo. I don't know where you were going to go with that, but yeah, I agree. Korean woo for Jakey. But welcome in everybody to Banger Management, the fantasy hockey podcast with Kevin, me, and Josh.
Me.
The other side of the screen. Yeah, him.
Really funny if the video, like, sometimes it puts us on the opposite side.
I know. I'll try to fix it and make sure that we're pointing the right direction. But yeah, only two hosts today. If you listen to the previous episodes, you know that Jake is pursuing a karaoke career and Seoul, South Korea. So we'll give you guys updates on how that's going. But for now, it's not working out for him. So he'll probably be back in a few weeks.
He's we're still holding out hope for him.
Holding out hope. Or I'm trying to vote. They're not letting me. But today we are covering the Week 11 news and updates from around the NHL and also covering the famous Would You Rathers to end the podcast. So
you're
going to want to listen to the end. You're not going to want to miss it. We got some spicy picks today. Josh peaked on one of them. And,
I didn't peak. I've never peaked. I never will peak. I haven't even begun to peak.
True. No, he didn't peak, but he was able to snipe which duo I was going to pick. So we already had a brief discussion, but we were saving our thoughts for the rest of the podcast. It's not going to be the same when there's only two for the Would You Rathers because
now you have to split me and you.
We'll try to give Jakey's take, but neither of us are good at that. So
we just have to pull up everyone's junior numbers, and that'll be Jakey's take.
That will be Jakey's take. But okay, wait, we got some big things to cover today. Yeah. So I guess let's just get right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it, and we're gonna spend I think the most time on this first one, and then the second one as well, and then we'll kind of zoom through a lot of the other ones, but. First big news of the week. I know we're a few days late, but that's just because that's our recording schedule. Nothing can be done, unfortunately.
We mentioned it already a little bit, though.
We did mention it on another episode, but it belongs on the news episode because it's news.
Listen, right before getting into it, though, like I've been going to war in the comments of our latest TikTok because we posted a TikTok of it was a brief clip about us commenting on we're gonna get into it, but like the Jarry and the Skinner trade. And everybody apparently is the biggest Jarry fan, and they think he's the next coming. Crazy. And that Stuart Skinner was the worst goalie in the league. And basically, we'll go more into it after. But I'm like, these two guys are basically the same. Just one's older and more injury prone. And why are you giving up why are you giving up a goalie that's paid half as much, a second round pick plus a player to make up for the cap difference? To make a lateral move, pretty much. That's basically our take. Like, not saying Stuart Skinner is the best goalie in the world.
We'll get into it. You're skipping ahead of the real big news, I know you're battling it out in TikTok comment sections.
I was heated. People are just like, you guys don't know anything, or like, this is the worst take I've ever seen. And I'm just like, guys, like, are we watching the same players? Like, do we not know who these guys are? This guy was waived last year.
But anyways, it's so funny when we get some comments like that, I see I was listening to your podcast and just listening to 5 minutes made me realize you guys know nothing about puck or something like that, and I'm like, I know this is a ridiculous comment, but it still hurts my feelings.
Yes, it does hurt my feelings. Like, I do actually watch the games and I think I know what I'm talking about, but alas, that's my little segue into making sure you guys, first of all, drop us a follow on the social medias. We're everywhere you can find us. Is in the link in the description, in the link in any of our social medias.
If you need us, we'll be there.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever else, make sure you just drop a follow for the podcast. So listen, you'll be notified every time the new episodes come live. You can rate us 5 stars if you like what you hear. That would be really appreciative. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Hopefully you like what you're looking at, and give us a like as well if you like what you hear. So let's get straight into the news now because we got some big trades to talk about.
I'm dying. Even like
I know.
I don't want to say like blue balling me here, but I just want to get into it already. Okay. Quinn, short for Quintifer Hughes, was traded to Minnesota for Zeev Buium, Marco Rossi, Liam Ogren, and a first round pick. Minnesota is like like that meme of like the WWE guy comes out of nowhere with the chair and just that's Minnesota
or something. All the WWE fans are gonna roast me for that because I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, you've got New Jersey and Detroit in the ring and whatever, and then out of nowhere Minnesota comes and it's this is an absolutely insane trade. The timing is insane. Again, trade deadline is cooked.
So fast.
This came out of nowhere really, and I think it has huge fantasy ramifications. So let's try and take it person by person that it could possibly affect. Let's start
Okay,
with
but
the
wait,
man of the hour.
let's first like, is this a
Okay,
good trade?
is this a good
Like,
trade? Before we get into the
Yeah.
deep dive. Okay, I think looking at it from Vancouver's perspective, they knew Hughes wasn't re-signing. They knew that his value would only go lower because the closer they get to him being a free agent, and if word got out that he was for sure not re-signing, they'd have no leverage. So
Yeah.
they had to make a trade. Now
he
it's
said
never
he's not resigning. Like, he was
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
apparently he said it like in the recent months that it's just
Yeah.
like he's for sure not coming back.
like they knew for a fact. And then you kind of have that, it never feels good to be trading the best player in a trade, especially when it's like a superstar player like this. But with the background that they had no choice, I think they got a great return for someone who was leaving anyways. So look, if you look at it pure value wise, I still think Quinn Hughes is just too good to, be traded.
Yeah.
But with the situation they were in, I think they made the most out of it. From Minnesota's side, I love it as well because they got the best player in the trade by far. They gave up Rossi, who they didn't want. Ogren's kind of a first-round bust so far. A first-round pick, but you got to give up, picks to get a guy like Hughes. I think Bouillon obviously is the biggest piece that they're losing, but with kind of like their cup timeline that they're looking at and how they just reset Kaprizov, like they're all in. So why not go all in and try and compete with Dallas and Colorado in their division?
Yeah, and I saw that, obviously Bouillon is like a big piece and he's a top prospect that was already coming to the NHL and everything, which is nice. But the reason why Minnesota was able to pull this off so fast apparently is because no other team even came close to offering a similar package. And because the other teams apparently just did not feel comfortable sending a package of this magnitude for a player that they had no guarantees would re-sign with them when the next 2 years are up and the contract is expired.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. It could be literally, it's definitely a lot of future assets to mortgage for a rental, but if it gets you a cup, then you're happy. You know what I mean? And you're still getting the best player by far. It really made me think of, like, remember when Jack Eichel got traded, and like it was like Krebs plus Tuck plus the first rounder plus whatever. We were just like, oh my god, it's a haul. And then you look back at it and just like the first rounder was nothing, Krebs is nothing, and Tuck is like a slightly above average winger that they might not even pay and they're gonna trade. And meanwhile, Vegas got a cup with Jack Eichel, and he's the main piece of their team for the next decade. It feels like
100%. I mean, it's kind of like in fantasy, right? It's like the team getting the best player usually wins the trade. You know, every time it's like the consolidating. Like always take the, it's similar to real life. Asset. You want, yeah.
Especially when it's guys of this magnitude that are like all-star, superstar players. Like, you know what you're getting, and you know it's a high level. Whereas, it might be nice if, all these three guys, Bouillon, Rossi, and the first round pick end up being studs. Like, you'll be really happy about that. But there's just so much ambiguity, and with the picks, it just feels like almost none of them pan out.
Yeah.
So unless they're a top 5 pick and whatever, like obviously there's always great picks that happen throughout the draft and even later in the drafts. But it's just the odds, the probability when you can have Quinn Hughes, like, is just nuts.
Yeah,
Anyways.
It's crazy. I mean, it's like it could be anything. It could even be Quinn Hughes,
Exactly.
So, that's it. Yeah, exactly. One thing to note is I did watch his post-game or post-trade presser, and I think that there's a solid chance he resigns in Minnesota. I think that I know everyone just expects him.
He doesn't have to make a decision now.
No, he doesn't have to make a decision, and I know everyone kind of expects him to just go to New Jersey to play with his brothers, and I think that's totally reasonable. Either New Jersey or he has a home in Michigan, so that's why people are expecting Detroit as well. But I think that, first of all, he's a competitor, right? He really just wants to win. So if Minnesota, like the next year and a half while he's with them, if they can be really competitive, which they should be with the team they have built so far, then I think that could definitely sway him. And then also, I think he's the type of guy who, this is pretty much his words, not mine. So when I say I think he's the type of guy, he's kind of saying he takes into account. He's like, I won't forget the package that was sent for me. He's like, Bill Guerin stepped up. He had the balls to do it. If another team wanted me, they could have offered a similar package, but they didn't. And I felt that felt kind of targeted towards Detroit and New Jersey, being like, look, I would have loved to be with either of you guys. You guys didn't, you guys didn't step up to the plate and make the correct offer or the big enough offer. And so he has mad respect for Bill Guerin for doing it. And I think he appreciates it as well. Anything to get him out of Vancouver, right? So all that to say, I don't think that it's a guarantee he's leaving after 2 years. If he stays, I think it's a slam dunk of a win. If he leaves but they win a cup, it's a win. If they don't win and he leaves for nothing, then it's an L. So we'll have to wait and see, but I like the move. Now let's talk about the fantasy aspect, because that's what people care about at the end of the day. So first of all, for Quinn Hughes himself, easy. It's just a huge win, right?
Yeah.
getting out of Vancouver, getting to play with Kaprizov, Boldy.
The one question that I had that I recently in the Discord is like people were asking for, potentially for next year or even for this year. They're like, is it now like, Makar and Quinn Hughes and then
we have to save that for we have to save that for our mailbag episode.
Okay.
There's enough to talk about that we can save that specific question for the mailbag.
So my tease of an answer here is that he was already a top 3 defenseman before this. So it's just like, yeah, he might have stretches where he's better, but he's always elite, and I can't imagine his production like takes an even bigger jump. If it did, he'd be better than Makar at that point. So
yeah, although he has been pretty bad the past 2 weeks, so it'll definitely help him get back to
buy low.
Yeah, so it'll get him back to what he should be doing. So huge W for Quinn Hughes. Other guys involved in the trade, Zeev Buoyam. Honestly, I think this is a W for him just because he wasn't locked on to power play 1 in Minnesota. Look, it's a worse power play 1 he's going to, but when you make a trade like this, you have to showcase the player who you made the trade for. You have to show your fans and the organization. You have to show them like this trade was worth it for us. So they have every reason to want to make him make him want to succeed.
It's also they're just a bad team that are not competing for anything, right? Like they're not trying to make the playoffs anymore. So might as well let your young guys develop chemistry with the other guys on the unit.
Absolutely. So I'd say it's a win for Buoyam. Not necessarily rushing to pick him up, but I'm willing to take a flyer on him. He got 2 power play points his first game. They were both pretty fluky. I was watching the game, and it was against New Jersey, who's in a free fall right now. So I wouldn't start planning the parade if you grabbed him, but I think he could be a solid pickup. Guys who got traded the other way, Marco Rossi. I see this as a win for him as well. He's on power play 1 currently in Vancouver. We'll see what happens when Pettersson comes back. But it's kind of like you were saying, that team is so bad that anyone who can play, who plays well, will make their way into that, top 6 in power play 1. So he has an opportunity he didn't have in Minnesota. So I like this for him. Ogren's kind of a nothing for fantasy, and first round pick is nothing for fantasy. So I guess everyone in the trade kind of wins. Let's talk about the surrounding cast. I'd say this is a loss for everyone else on Vancouver. Fact is, getting, even if Buoyam becomes a Quinn Hughes-like player, right now you just lost Quinn Hughes and replaced him with a rookie. So it's going to be less points all around for that power play, for even strength, just everything. I think it sucks for Vancouver guys. Not that they were doing well already anyways. And then for Minnesota, obviously it's a massive win, right? If you have a Kaprizov or a Boldy, Eriksson Ek, Zuccarello when he comes back, like, I'm super happy right now.
It just feels like I don't necessarily see it as like the ceiling got much higher, but I feel like the floor got much higher.
Yeah.
So like the range of outcomes of like the value of your players went from like, this could be the range to like this could be the range. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, Minnesota's power play was already really good this year.
That's what I'm saying.
And they were alternating between like Buoyam, Faber, and Spurgeon on power play 1. Yeah. And you replace that with Quinn Hughes. It's like boat turns into spaceship, turns into, what's more than spaceship,
like demigod is just flying over whatever. I have
exactly.
No idea.
So I think that's I think that covers all the aspects of that trade, but that's just massive, very exciting and fun. That's just a general hockey fan.
Would you trade high on the Quinn Hughes hype after the trade? I saw some people do that.
Okay.
Oh, I wish I had the Discord trade that I saw on hand. Let me give me a little tidbit, but let me.
Okay, so I love anytime I have a guy who's like involved in a trade like this. If you can trade on the potential that everyone sees in them, then absolutely you do it. So like in everyone's mind, Quinn Hughes just became Cale Makar, right? Yeah. Like that's it. Like everyone's just like, Quinn Hughes, already second best defenseman in the league, now is getting put in a way better situation. There's no question he becomes the best defenseman in the league. So if you can trade on that value before he even proves it, then it's an automatic win, because even if he proves it, you already traded on that value. So there's really no loss. So absolutely, if you can trade him where everyone assumes in the trade that he's all of a sudden like the best defenseman in hockey, you do it. And then even if he becomes the best defenseman in hockey, it's still a win.
Yeah. Somebody traded for Quinn Hughes, and they got Quinn Hughes and Joel Eriksson Ek, and they gave up Jarvis, Gunther, Levshunov, and Buoyam.
Oh, easiest. I mean, assuming this is a keeper league or something, or
no, not even.
Okay, well, this is
the
one
other
of the
guy just
biggest
really
fleases.
needed help.
That's one of the biggest fleeces I've heard. So
the original trade was Quinn Hughes and Eriksson Ek for Jarvis, Gunther, and Rasmus Anderson, which I was like slam dunk.
Yeah.
But then he was able to like flip Anderson out and put in Levshunov plus Buoyam instead.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Easy win.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. But that was super fun to talk about because
Yeah.
such a massive trade.
This will be
Another
even more
massive
fun.
trade. Yeah, Tristan Jarry traded to Edmonton for Stuart, Skinner, Brett Kulak, and a second-round pick. I know we discussed this a bit on a previous episode, but let's just first of all, hockey-wise, like you said with the previous one,
Yeah.
I feel like Pittsburgh fleeced Edmonton here.
I
feel
think
like we've
Pittsburgh
talked
fleeced
about
Edmonton
this.
as well in terms of like value for a trade. And
Yeah,
if you agree with us, please go on our TikTok and defend us in the comments because it's brutal out there, guys. Like it's a whole other world. Like I feel like we're living in our little ecosphere here, and just like people that trust us and that know us, and like on TikTok, it just feels like people think we're like random content creators that are just trying to get clicks. It's horrible. My feelings are hurt. But to me, I'm like for fantasy. If we're talking fantasy right now, it's like okay. We saw Jarry play one game for Edmonton thus far, and it wasn't anything too crazy. Like I think he had just below 900. They won the game. It was a blowout. Skinner has yet to play for Pittsburgh, but
they're playing each other.
yeah, this episode is going live tomorrow morning, and we were recording this like literally right before Pittsburgh
It's gonna
and
be so
Edmonton
hype.
actually
I feel like I
play.
have to watch this game. Like,
So, people are saying it's like a WWE event. Like people are, it's not Crosby versus McDavid.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Tristan Jarry versus Stuart Skinner. But if I'm just looking at the fantasy ramifications, we're just gonna talk about the goalies because that's the only thing relevant here. I mean, Jarry is worth a pickup because he's going to be the starter. He's going to be the starter for the foreseeable future now. Like
same reason Skinner was still like 60% rostered even when he was playing awfully.
Yeah.
The goalie on Edmonton is always going to have some sort of value because they win so many games.
Yeah. And I think Stuart Skinner is in the same boat. Like he's going to be. I mean, I think he has less of a chance to be like the full starter compared to Jarry. Like Jarry, like Picard's not stealing any games from him.
Yeah.
Whereas Skinner, I could see them being like, all right, let's give She Loves a game here or whatever. But I still expect Skinner to get the bulk of the workload, and also he could be trade bait as well for another goal. If another team like needs a goalie near the deadline, like they could flip him. Like they have no ties or allegiance to him long term right now. He doesn't have a contract.
Yeah, end of the day, they've got Shilovs and Murashov in the cupboard, kind of marinating. Yeah. So if
but they also want
to
compete. Like they're in the playoff picture right now, which we did
100%.
not expect to be the case at all thus far. So that's surprising in itself. But for Skinner, like I still have Skinner on my roster. I had him when he was on Edmonton. I'm holding him through the trade, and I'm gonna see right now. Like I'm giving a peek into the league of record right now, but I'm holding 3 goalies. I need to hold only 2 goalies, and my goalies right now are Jet Greaves, Skinner, and Askarov. Askarov is safe, but right now it's kind of feels like a little tryout for Greaves and Skinner on my roster right now. I'm leaning towards keeping Skinner just because I think the Penguins should have more wins. And I do like Greaves as a goalie, and I think he has better quality in him. Like, he's putting up good percentages. It's just the team around him's letting him down. Like, they cannot buy a win. It's sucks. Like he's had like 7 straight starts without a win, it feels like. And they always choke it in the third period. It's honestly horrible.
Yeah.
But I feel really bad dropping him in our league. There's nobody on waivers that right now that's good, so.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's a super interesting one. We'll see. Like, I can see it working out for both teams this year at least. But yeah, it kind of just feels like a lateral move.
It does.
So let's move on. Those were the 2 big trades from the week. So back to your regular scheduled injuries and health.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Kane is out at least 2 games with an upper body injury. He's on my team, so that sucks. Yep. JVR is taking his spot on Power Play 1. James Van Riemsdyk for the newer folk who don't remember him from his Toronto days. But,
for Kane Kane's in a season-long hold. Like I feel like people were only recently starting to be like, oh, is Kane like actually worth holding besides streaming? I'm just like, bro, like we've been talking about Kane being a valuable asset for like months. It feels like
it's crazy. I drafted him in like the 15th round in our league, and he's like been point per game, like 0.4 power play points, 3 shots. All season. It's just that he's old and gets injured a decent amount that people are and people don't believe in
and
it.
And he's not like line 1 all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
He's mostly line 2,
this
but he's
is
still producing.
Very much a season long hold. So it definitely sucks. We'll see how long he's out for. It said like what I read is that he retweaked whatever he injured last time he got injured. So tweak makes it seem like maybe it's not a big deal, but we'll see what happens. Every time I have a guy who's day to day, he's out for like 3 weeks. So we'll see.
You heard it here first. He's about to miss a month. But all that to say, what I'm doing with Kane is if I have IR plus, I'm just easily stashing. And if I don't have IR plus and he's basically a dead spot, and if he's not playing, I'm still holding for the moment, just until we get a clearer timeline. Because
Yeah,
if it's just 2
exactly.
games, I'm biting the bullet. It's like Josh Norris last week. They got sick. They missed 2 games. Like I'm not cutting a guy like that I
Yeah.
see that has future value just for these 2 games. You know what I mean? So I want Kenny on my roster. JVR, I'm not really tempted into picking up. I think even if he's
No.
on PP1, I don't really have interest in him unless, like, let's say Kane, they disclose that he's out for like a month plus, then we'll see. Maybe he'll have more standalone value, but right now I'm not taking the shot on him.
Yeah, the thing with him is that first of all he's not good, but also like even if Kane is out long term, like it's not like he's guaranteed to have that power play 1 spot the entire
Yeah.
time. Like they have plenty of other guys who can take
They
it
do.
if he doesn't perform. So yeah, not rushing to pick him up. Let's move on to something that doesn't make me depressed. Charlie McAvoy returned from injury and bumped Hampus Lindholm from power play 1. He came back pretty early. What
Yeah.
I'm learning, honestly, is that
Everybody's ahead of schedule.
everyone's ahead of schedule. And anytime I'm in my mind, I'm like, should I be sending buy lows for this guy? He's out indefinitely. I don't know. Send the buy low. That's what
Yeah.
I've learned. I missed the Rasmus Dahlin opportunity. This
Yeah.
McAvoy opportunity, actually, I was sending out nonstop offers. So this one I'm not putting on myself. The owner just didn't want to trade with me, which
Yeah.
is fair enough. But no, like who else? Okay, Timo Meyer's taking a leave of absence right now. Oh, that's actually the next bullet point.
There
so
you
I'll
go.
just get
Segue.
into Timo Meyer's taking a leave of absence and will be out indefinitely. Arseny Gritziuk got his spot on power play 1, but then he got injured too, so now it's Stefan Nason. But as I was saying, as part of the last point, I'm absolutely sending buy lows for Timo Meyer.
Yeah.
And I know that indefinitely is scary, but what I've learned over the past few weeks and honestly from previous years, indefinitely is like never as long as you expect. But people get a lot scared.
But
a
it
lot
depends.
really
It could be
scared
like
about
it could be like 3 months and ends up being like 2 months or whatever, which is still a month of value. But
yeah,
it's
you know
like,
what? I don't want
you
to say a
have
blanket statement, but if you're in a good position where you could take on a guy who will be on your IR for a bit, then I love buying low on these indefinite lease because people get freaked out.
And we're talking about buying low also. We're not sending fair value as if he was
No.
healthy to try to get him off
No.
the other team's roster, right? Like you can send like we're not doing a buy low episode right now, but like Timo Meyer,
Yeah.
like you could probably send. Maybe you can send a package of like Bertuzzi plus, who like Bertuzzi is like a major sell high. Like I'm like, get him off your
Yeah.
roster right now. Obviously 1-for-1 that's not happening, but would you trade like Gunther for Timo Meyer?
No, because healthy, I'd rather Gunther than Meyer.
Wow, okay. I still think Meyer
I'm pretty high on Gunther. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still curious to see what happens. Like Meyer's
when
an
Jack Hughes
interesting
comes
one.
back.
When I'm not sure if he's gonna be power play 1 when everything shakes out. So that's
Okay.
the only reason. But let's say instead of Timo, let's say it was when Charlie McAvoy was out, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm super into, like I'm, yeah. Anyways, all that to say,
Would
if
you
a
trade
guy's out
Brandon
indefinitely,
Hagel for Timo Meyer?
assuming like that's gonna be a bullet point later, but Hagel just got injured.
Yeah.
Assuming he was healthy or just or in like real time right
Assuming
now.
it's, like he comes back next game. Like he got
Comes
hit
back
to the
next
head.
game?
It was just a concussion. He passed
No,
his
I think
protocol,
I
he's
still
back.
just prefer Hagel to Meyer.
Okay.
That's it. Like we're talking about like buying low, right? So that's why I
Yeah.
love your Bertuzzi one. That's a perfect one.
Yeah. What about Fantilli? I
Honestly-
feel like Fantilli you can make happen.
Yeah, Fantilli I would send for Meyer. I'd even send, this one might seem crazy, but I would send for Hagee. He was our sell high from
No,
last
that
week.
doesn't seem crazy at all. I want to get Verhage off my roster. If
Yeah,
you can do Verhage
so-
for Timo Meyer right now, that seems like a slam dunk.
I think that can get done.
Yeah.
Like absolutely, how Verhage's
I would
been
even send
playing and
Verhage
Meyer-
plus Bertuzzi for Timo Meyer.
Yeah, I think
I
you
have
can
no
do.
allegiance to either of those guys.
I fully agree, and I think you can get Timo Meyer plus if you're sending those two guys.
Really. The
look,
indefinitely is really like it packs more of a punch if the team is like near the bottom.
100%,
of the standings. Like if the guy's a
100%.
bottom 3 team and he has Timo Meyer who just is out indefinitely, like you can send
Yeah.
a trade like those guys. If the guy's in first place and he loses Timo Meyer, he's probably just gonna want to hold.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it depends. Like every person, every manager has a different risk tolerance, right?
True.
So you send out the offer, you try and get what you can, and you can gauge how they feel about the situation. If you're in a league where the guy's like indefinitely, I don't care about that, like I can hold on to him, then maybe it doesn't get done. But if you're in a league where a guy's like panicking, being like, oh my god, this guy might just be worth nothing all year, like that's when he counts. So it's league dependent. But yeah, talking about Devils, we've got Simon Nemec was injured at practice and will be out at least 2 weeks, but it seems like a while.
Yeah.
Luke Hughes and Dougie Hamilton are back to splitting power play 1. It honestly makes no sense. It's not even game in, game out anymore. Like I was watching the last Devils game. They're on the power play. Luke Hughes is on power play 1. They get a 5-on-3 on that same power play. Immediately they swap him with Dougie. Like it's within the same
Maybe it's
power
a
play.
conditioning thing. Like they're just I don't know.
I don't
like,
even
this
know
guy's
what
tired,
it
let's
is.
swap him out type of thing. Like I don't know.
It was like 20 seconds into the power play that it became a 5-on-3, and then they swapped. Like I don't know why or
They're trying
what
to
rhyme or
metagame
reason.
it and it's not working. And
No,
I don't know, just
Keefe is an
pick one and
idiot,
roll with it.
honestly. Like he's just terrible coach. But I'm also salty because I'm a Dougie owner, and it sucks.
And he's been like
But,
the worst player in fantasy over the last.
He's actually
like, 2
been
months.
awful. Yeah, he's been like 0 point, just garbage. But anyways, yeah. So they're splitting it. right now I don't want to own any of these guys, but like Dougie's getting dropped in a lot of leagues. If your league's a deep league, as much as I hate having him on my team, if you're in a good position, I would scoop him up for free if you can. I
Yeah.
just think that like
There's got to be better days ahead. It can't get worse than it is right now.
it literally can't get worse. And he's been in trade talks. I know he's got a no trade clause, like partial or something, but I know the team wants to ship him. And wherever he goes, the only team that would take him is a team that wants to put him on power play 1, in my opinion. I just don't see a team grabbing him with that salary cap and not putting him on power play 1. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, I'm kind of holding. I'm in a decent spot in our league, so I'm holding until around the trade deadline. And if he doesn't get traded and he's been this garbage this whole time, then I'll just drop him. But he has the potential to be someone you're really happy to get for free.
Yep.
Anyways, let's move on. Again, more things that that are pissing me off this year, so let's get away from that. Jared McCann got injured again and will be out for 3 weeks. Eli Tolvanen taking his spot on line 1, power play 1. I like Tolvanen as a bangers guy, and with the deployment, it's solid. Nothing too exciting, though, because Seattle, I think, has the worst offense in the league. But McCann, I think, is just
Calgary or Vancouver.
Yeah. McCann's just like a certified squishy boy at this point.
Yeah.
He just can't stay healthy. I don't even know if I'm buying low on him at this point. Like,
because when he's healthy, he's actually good, and he bangs a little bit too. So it's just. I think the question here is like people didn't really have McCann on their rosters. It felt like before this.
Yeah.
So if you can stash. If you can't stash, drop. I don't feel bad about it.
Absolutely.
Tolvanen, I feel like let's not forget, it's not like a new guy's getting this deployment and he's a direct replacement. Like McCann was missing a lot of time before, and Tolvanen wasn't there the whole time either as a permanent replacement. So if he has the deployment is good, like you're interested, but somebody asked Tolvanen or Toffoli, and I went Toffoli.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I still feel like that's kind of the range of guys we're talking about right now. And if he gets bumped off, like if hits is a big part of your league, maybe I do favor Tolvanen a little bit because he does have that element to his game. But in general, this is not a blockbuster move for me. I'm not rushing to pick him up.
No. And I mean, in that specific scenario, like let's say hits are involved, right now I'd rather have Tolvanen, but I'd much more likely to drop Tolvanen in the next 2 weeks than I am Toffoli, if that makes sense. So like sometimes there's a guy who you'd rather have right now, but he's more likely to be dropped. So, you'd probably go with the safer bet. Okay, here's a big one. Connor Bedard is out with an upper body injury. It's a separated shoulder until at least January. Nick Lardis got called up and getting his spot on power play 1, and Frank Nazar is getting his spot on line 1. But this is massive. Before, like earlier in the season, I was saying that anyone who has any exposure to Bedard is worth holding because of how unreal Bedard was. Like anyone on that power play 1. We're talking like Bertuzzi, we're talking Burakovsky, we're talking Levshinov, right? So Spencer Knight also is definitely benefiting from Bedard. So that whole team just becomes a dumpster fire now. Like he literally was the only thing keeping that team afloat.
It's honestly really sad because like he was playing like a first round draft pick in fantasy leagues, where you probably got him in the 3rd round or even later potentially in some leagues. So it was tremendous value, and also he's just like fun to watch. Like he's a great player.
He's just great for the league.
He made this Blackhawks team like really fun to watch as well. So right now I'm just like, if I have Blackhawks players on my roster, I just want to get them off my roster. And because none of the guys were really super valuable already to begin with, but like the Bertuzzis, the Nazars, like Nazar's probably the only guy that gets potentially a boost out of this, but he's got line 1. He's not even on PP1. So what are we doing here? Like why is Nick Lardis? No shade to Nick Lardis, but why is he getting PP1 when guys I
think Nazar is on PP1. I think he had it before the
last
Bedard
I checked
injury.
he wasn't there.
Oh really? Because I was seeing Bertuzzi,
I saw
Burakovsky,
Nazar, Donato and Teravainen on PP2. On PP2.
Okay. I was seeing as power play 1, I was seeing Nazar, Bertuzzi, Burakovsky, Lardis, and Levshinov.
Okay, yeah. As we speak right now, Bertuzzi, Nazar, Lardis, Burakovsky, Grzelcyk.
Yeah, because Levshinov's getting scratched because he showed up to the rink late. So he's still the power play 1 guy.
But Levshinov, will be there. So the main guys that are not on there is Teravainen and Donato. So if it stays like this, listen, I think Nazar gets a boost, but the guys around them, I'm not too thrilled to hold these guys right now. Like they were already overperforming. I'm trying to get them off my roster.
Absolutely. All right. Jason Zucker is out again with a lower body injury. Zach Benson takes his spot on power play 1. This sucks, right?
What a shame.
Zucker was a guy that we were talking about a lot on the pod.
Yep.
People picked him up. People were loving him because he was putting up a ridiculous points in power play points for a random guy that most people haven't heard of, unless you listen to us in the off season where we talked about him. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like he's having one of those seasons that sometimes players have where they're just really in and out with injuries. So again, if you have the IR spot, I'm happy to stash him. If not, I'm happy to drop him. And
Yeah.
then I'm not running to pick up Benson either. I know like earlier in the season he looked like he can be like legit, but
Yeah.
right now I'm not seeing it. It seems like more of the guys in that realm. It seems like Josh Doan's more the guy to own than Benson.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, watch list him and see if he could go back to what he was doing at the start of the season.
Yeah. If he gets a little hot and he's still exposed to, the Tages, the Josh Norrises, then I'm interested. But right now, I think this honestly gives a boost to Alex Tuck, who we've been trying to get shipped off our rosters as much as possible because a lot of his situation is just a little bit squishy. But with right now, he seems to be line 1 PP1, and that might stick for a little bit. So
Oh, they
if it
have it.
does,
You think he's power play 1 over Benson?
he was power play 1 over Benson last game.
Okay.
So,
That's a
but it's
super
a fluid
fluid.
situation
Yeah,
too.
exactly. They just really there's just some teams for
No,
some
right,
reason they
right
don't
now,
like.
as of the practice today, they put him back PB2. So listen,
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's
it.
just, it's
I would always bet on Tuck being
still
power
trying
play
to
too.
get, yeah. I don't know why they do it. It's like Hagel. It's like just put
Yeah,
your
no,
best guys on
100%.
power play 1.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so that's definitely interesting. And on topic of the Sabres, they hired a new GM. They finally fired Kevin Adams and
He was
hired.
arguably the worst GM in the league. I'm sorry,
He's
like
so
honestly,
bad.
like it was just. I feel
Yeah.
like every time I see a trade, I'm like, why is Buffalo doing this?
Yeah. So they hired Jarmo Kekalainen. You may remember him from Columbus.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think he recently like had a press conference and said, I think we can be playoff contenders this year, like stuff like that. So, I mean,
like
what
to
else
hear
is he
that.
going to say, right? But I mean, look, it can only be better for Buffalo, right? Like any change is a good change for them.
I think this is like a breath of fresh air for the team, and they feel like rejuvenated a little bit because honestly, guys, he was like the worst GM.
Yeah,
He was
he was
actually the
bad.
worst GM in the league.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to swap him out for somebody, like it was about time he got fired. I think the
Yeah.
players are going to be happier. I think
Yeah.
there's like a new era kind of in Buffalo right now. I'm not saying Kekalainen is going to be the solution, and it doesn't have his faults either. But I don't want. I bet my house he's not worse than Kevin Adams. So
yeah, I agree, and it'll be interesting to see how he handles the Byram and the Tuck situations. I know he said that his goal is to sign Tuck, but they have to agree on a number. If they don't agree, then he'll be shipped. I think Byram's gone, so we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out over the course of the season.
I would love for Buffalo to be in this playoff race though, because I feel like it makes all their fantasy assets even more valuable.
For sure,
because
I mean,
the guys are
honestly, with how the East has been right now, like every single team is in the playoff race.
Yeah,
like Buffalo's like 6 points out of a playoff spot, but they're like 8 teams out because of how close it is. It's super fun. I love it. It makes it super interesting. So they're definitely not out of it. People like to clown on, they're clowning on him saying we're a playoff team, but like 6 points out is super reasonable. Yeah. Look at the Habs last year. We were last place in the league and then we made the playoffs at this point. So yeah, moving on to some news that breaks my heart because I've been a believer all year is Dylan Holloway is out 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Jake Neighbors is taking a spot on power play 1. Holloway, like, I know his points haven't been there this year, but he was starting to turn it around, and the bangs have just been unreal. Like, he has been continuing with that. So this is a big loss in any bangers league, and this is a similar one to a lot of the others where if you have the spot, you stash him, and if not, then I think you have to drop with just how long-term the injury is and how he's been this year. So it sucks. I mean, also, like, St. Louis looks like they were finally kind of getting going. Like, Robert Thomas is on a little point streak, and it's just brutal timing.
Very brutal timing. I am interested in Jake Neighbors, however. I feel like he's already kind of like a low-key bangers type of guy. Like he does hit a lot. His shots are not always super consistent, but he could be a double-double. And I think with the increased role, he has a better shot of not than being a valuable asset for your bangers categories leagues, which we love. But even in points leagues, I feel like with the line 1, PP1, he has some good upside to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm playing him this week, so that's guaranteed just an insane week. So go pick him up. He already put up a point and 4 hits against me. Anyways.
In one league, I lost Patrick Kane, and I picked up Jake Neighbors, and he won me hits in my last matchup in categories, and this week I think he already got an assist. So
nice. Here's another big one. Will Smith is out with an injury. William Eklund taking a spot on power play 1. And or I don't know if it's Toffoli or Eklund. Like they kept shuffling around who was on there.
Always been there.
I know he was on power play 2 for a bit, but maybe he was there most recently. So I'll say Toffoli taking a spot on power play 1. For some reason, the one guy who's a lock there is Alexander Wenberg. But I guess you need those face-off wins. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, this is a massive loss for them. But so far, what I'm seeing, they're only guaranteeing he's out for 1 week. So he might be out for more, but it's at least a week. but that's not too
Yep.
bad, right? It looked like he can be out much longer term than that. So hopefully it's shorter term, because they also were kind of, I mean, first of all season they've been outperforming, but him and Celebrini have been, buds on and off the ice, killing it
Yeah.
points wise. And they've been just doing really well. So hopefully he comes back soon. And in the meantime, Eklund and Toffoli both get a boost. Whichever one of them,
Yep.
wouldn't have been on power play one, now gets it. So definitely
I actually
worth taking
always
a look
saw
at.
Eklund on power play 1. For a stretch, it was Will Smith on PP2 or
Yeah.
Toffoli on PP2.
Okay, I thought I'd
So-
seen Eklund on power play 2 at some point, but maybe he was.
I'm
he was
plugged into
locked
the
on.
situation.
Yeah, I know. You're you have a lot of stakes in that. So,
But I'm mostly, interested in seeing like who ends up playing on line 1, because I feel like San Jose is just like their lines are a little weird.
yeah,
Like Wenberg is centering Toffoli and Eklund, who are the both best wingers on this team outside of Will Smith. And
Yeah.
Celebrini's kind of left hanging on to dry with Colin Graff and Chernyshov. So
Yeah.
they're at
The
the
big
moment that's what
guns.
the situation is like. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
we'll see how
if
that shakes out.
If they consolidate into one bigger line or whatnot, I'd be interested to see that. But as long as everybody's on PP1, I'm interested in those guys.
Joseph Wall is healthy, and he'll bump Dennis Hildeby from the starting job. Again, the Toronto
No.
starting job is not what it used to be. It's not that coveted, like I must have that guy on my team. But Wall's a solid goalie when he could stay healthy. So I definitely like him as a pickup if he's available in your league. I like him better than most goalies that are probably available on waivers.
Yep. I just recommended somebody pick up Tristan Jarry for Joseph Wall.
I think that's fair though. I think I like Jarry better than Wall right now. Just like I
Yep.
said, like if you asked me that a year ago, if you were like Wall is there and Stolarz
Yep.
is not coming back anytime soon,
It's a
then I
way
would have been
more
like
important
obviously Wall,
situation.
but now it's just a kind of lower stakes with how the Leafs have been.
Yep.
But yeah, on that
But-
note, Stolarz is
Yeah.
not nearing a return. He's going to get a second opinion. Things are
That's
not
never
progressing well. It makes it sound like he could be out almost the whole season. That's kind of
Yep.
the vibe I'm getting.
Which is really
So,
sad, because like we saw him like when he was healthy, he was actually a really solid goalie for them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. But it means Wall is the
sad.
undisputed starter. Again, not the
As
most
long as he can
coveted
handle the
position.
workload.
Yeah,
and the load.
exactly. As long as he can handle all the loads. Let's move on. John Carlson returned from injury but did not take his spot back on Power Play 1. Who
Mhm.
could have predicted that? Your friendly
Literally us.
neighborhood banger management podcast hosts. That's who. Yeah, so we really hope that everyone sold high on him when we recommended it about, I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, but yeah, I really hope you guys sold high, because he's only going downhill from what he was doing before the injury.
Yeah, if you listen to us, we were just like, this was a must get off your roster, because he was banged up, so he wasn't in the lineup, but he wasn't on PP1. You could have used that to your advantage when you're trading. A lot of people were able to get them off their roster, which I'm really happy about. We saw in the Discord. But if you're still holding, I'm still trying to make a deal happen for whatever.
I don't
you
think it's
can.
too late to sell. It might not be as high
Yeah.
as you could have sold,
Mhm.
a week ago, but like he still has some value, so I would still try and sell.
And does this mean that he's never going to be on PP1 again? No. Obviously, there's I feel like it's a 50-50 chance that he ends up back there at some point during
I mean,
the season.
Ethan Frank is not a lock,
No, Ethan Frank is not a lock. But the fact that he was injured, came back, Leonard got hurt, and Ethan Frank is holding up the spot, and they're not just immediately putting him there, raises eyebrows already. So,
Absolutely.
So I'm not enthused to have John Carlson on my roster.
No. All right, let's dive into a few Tampa Bay Lightning tidbits here. So Victor Hedman is getting elbow surgery, will be out until February. Darren Radish is the undisputed Power Play 1D on this team until February, and then he'll still be the Power Play 1D when Hedman comes back, but maybe it'll be a bit more disputed. But look, we highlighted Radish as a sell high in our last episode, and that was with the full knowledge of Hedman's injury. So I think that this injury increases Radish's value, but it might increase his value in people's minds more than it should be increased, and that's where you take advantage. So he's going to be great rest of the season, could be one of the free agent pickups of the year, but if you can sell high on what he's been doing, then absolutely do it. Talking about the Lightning again, Brandon Hagel was injured in yesterday's game. I don't know if you saw it, Kevin, but he got
ran to the elbow to the face. Oh no, it was Seth Jones.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and it was honestly like, I'm glad he's not suspended because I have him on my team. But
it was bad.
It was all elbow.
He was, leading with the elbow, like I'm coming for you.
That's exactly it. He was coming from a mile away, and it was just a straight elbow. But yeah, so
it was
this is
up, locked and loaded, like ready
crazy.
to go.
Yeah, this is the third time that Hagel's getting a head injury playing against Florida. In the past, I think, season and a half, ever since he had that hit on Barkov, I think they have his number, and Florida just never has to pay the price for anything. So this sucks as a Hagel owner, we'll see what happens. Like with Tampa, they always make everything sound like they're dead, and then they come back like 2 games later.
Yeah.
So we'll
Would
see what
you-
happens.
Would you rather it be a concussion or like a jaw injury?
I'd rather a jaw injury.
Yeah, even though that might knock him out longer term.
But look at McAvoy. You're not gonna get a worse
Yeah.
jaw injury than he got, and he came back
No.
within like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah,
And I don't know. Concussion is just
it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels a lot more ambiguous because there's not like a injury timeline. It's not like the body's healing.
Also, like
type of
jaw
thing.
injury, like you get it fixed, whatever. You come back.
Doesn't
like,
impact
let's say
your
you're
hands
back.
or your feet.
Yeah, and also like your back. Concussion. Like
Yeah,
if you take a bad hit and you just came back from a jaw injury, you're wearing the full cage. You're not going to re-aggravate your jaw injury, But like concussion, you take it doesn't even have to be a bad hit. You take a awkward hit or something like that, and you can re-aggravate your concussion. So yeah, definitely prefer that.
Mhm.
And then again, but on some good news for Tampa, Vasilevsky is back from injury, and Jonas/Jonas Johansson, still don't know which one it is back to backing up. So that's really exciting for Vasilevsky owners. Johansson owners, I mean, it was a great stream while it lasted. He really put up good numbers for you. So
listen, he gave a lot of value.
Yeah, 100%. So enjoyed it while you could, and now he's gone. But that's how these things work.
They left it kind of ambiguous because I mean since Vasilevsky has been activated from IR, he hasn't actually played a game yet.
Yeah.
And then John Cooper was like hoping he'd play, and then they were like, oh, we just hope he plays before the Christmas break. So it's just kind of like he was activated from IR means like okay, the injury is not long term anymore. By the time you're listening to this, maybe he already played 1 game. So hopefully there's no issues and there's no lingering anything with Vasilevsky, but I feel like they wouldn't risk anything with him. So.
No chance. Okay, Matt Zuccarello is injured again. Honestly, it's just like a lot of these guys who keep getting re-injured is just the older guys, right?
Yeah.
That's just facts. Age comes for all of us. So definitely something to be said about, sometimes avoiding the older guys. Maybe less avoiding, but if you have the choice between 2 equal guys and one's younger, maybe go with the younger one to avoid injuries. But I really like Zuccarello as an IR stash. He's only 18% owned. I think in any league where you have an IR spot available, most leagues he'll be available, and I would absolutely go stash him with the Quinn Hughes trade. I think his value is going to go up a lot. In the meantime, Tarasenko's on line 1, power play 1, and I'm not really interested. And I know it's crazy because of that deployment, but I was going to pick him up, but I decided to do a bit of a deep dive. And first of all, I don't think he has a lock on that spot. I think, right now Marcus Johansson's also injured. If he comes back from injury, I could see him bumping Tarasenko. And then also, Wild fans hate Tarasenko. They say he's been awful for them this year.
Yeah.
And all that made me feel like I don't want to pick him up. Since the 2 games of him being line on power play 1, he hasn't done anything. So I'm feeling pretty good about my avoiding that pickup. We'll see how he does this following week, though.
As long as he's PP1, I feel like he's going to luck into at least a few points there, given how good that power play is. But this is a straight swap when Zuccarello comes back. Now, listen, it depends how much time Zuccarello is missing.
I saw Zuccarello was skating on his own, so I don't know what that means in terms of timeline, but at least
probably
he's on
around the
ice.
corner. So by the time you're listening to this, maybe he's already activated. And yeah. I mean, listen, is Tarasenko worth a stream for like a game or 2 with the
Look, he has a
exposure?
4-game week. Like you can
I don't
do
hate
worse.
it. Exactly, you could do worse.
I'm
like,
just
would I
not
rather
expecting
Tarasenko or like Evangelista? I'd probably lean Tarasenko just for the power play 1 exposure.
I would take Evangelista because of the shots, but probably more likely Tarasenko gets
They could
a point.
both get 2 shots, but one's on PP1, so it's kind of like okay.
I guess that's fair. Okay,
but that's what we're talking about here. We're not.
Exactly. All right, I think I've got a lot of. Let me do one more player one, and then it's just all goalies.
Yeah.
So Bo Horvat is day to day with a lower body injury. Anthony Duclair taking a spot on power play 1. Matt Barzal's also day to day, but he's a game time decision, so he should be back. This is all day to day stuff, so I'm not overreacting to any of it. Duclair got 2 points, but it's the Islanders. If their best players aren't there, I'm not dying to pick up their replacements.
No, and none of these injuries seem super long term either. So it's kind of just like you got to bite the bullet while they're out right now, but they're back soon. So
yeah. All right, let's do a quick barrage.
Wait,
of
we got one
goalies.
more player one.
We have one more. Oh, you're right. Thomas Harley returned from injury, but is still power play 2.
Yeah. Now we can go through all the goalies.
Okay, cool. All right. Connor Hellebuck returned early from injury and bumped Eric Comrie from the starting job. Comrie kind of sucked, so this is not a Johansson situation where you're like, thanks for the good work. I'll see you next time the guy gets injured. This is a you suck and you did not do what I wanted you to do while Hellebuck was out type of thing. Hellebuck owners rejoice. Not much to say about that. Just makes the whole team better. Thatcher Demko returned from injury and bumped Kevin Lankinen from the starting job. It's only a matter of time till he's back on IR. I don't know if that's bad to say,
inevitable.
but it feels inevitable. But and also Vancouver sucks, so I'm not dying to pick him up or anything like that.
No, I put Demko in the same conversation as like a UC Saros. Like we're at the point where like the team is horrible. They should
but I
get
take
most of the
Saros over
starts.
Demko.
Yeah, I'd also take Saros over Demko. Saros doesn't have a Lankinen problem, and also like
Honestly,
less injury prone.
Like, I'm pretty low on Demko. Like, I'm thinking about some of the goalies that I would take over him.
How the
and
mighty
like
have fallen. Like,
yeah, like
would you
I'm
rather
just
Demko or Markstrom? And
Like, I'll
Markstrom
take
is another
Markstrom.
head case.
I would take Markstrom, but he's awful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Demko or Stuart Skinner?
Skinner for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you want to hear a low one that I would take over Demko? I would take Dan Vildar over Demko.
I mean, I feel like I'd do the same.
Yeah, and that's just like crazy. Look, I will probably take Jet Greaves over Demko.
Yeah, I would too.
Like, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like his stock has fallen significantly. The injuries plus the team being awful just don't do him any favors. Okay, Scott Wedgwood returned from injury and is back to splitting starts with Blackwood. If you have Wedgwood, you're super happy. If you have Blackwood, you're like, damn, less starts, but the starts are still going to be quality. So not too worried about anything over there. I think at this point it's pretty much a 50-50. So
yeah, we highlighted Blackwood as a potential sell high just because like he's had the quality as well as the quantity while Wedgwood has been out. So, but like Blackwood is still a fantastic goalie. He's probably like top 5, top 7 rest of season.
Yeah.
So, you're shooting high. So I'm not trying to get rid of him off my roster, but you do have an opportunity to potentially get like a Hellebuck or Vasilevsky or something with his recent
And on the other
performances.
hand, Blackwood could also be. It all depends the mindset of the managers, right? He could also be a buy low if people.
No,
see
there's
Wedgwood
no way buying
back.
low on Blackwood with how he's performing on the ice.
No, not buy low is the wrong word, but maybe like people see. Okay, you take advantage of other people trying to sell high, if that makes sense. Because sometimes when people sell high on a player, they start in their head thinking about them being worse than they are.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes sense. So, like, you see a guy being, like, kind of rushing to sell Blackwood to get value on since Wedgwood returned, then maybe you can take advantage of that. So it really depends on how the managers, treat it. It's a very case-by-case basis, but there's definitely interesting stuff to be done there. Here's an interesting one. It's going to be one of our hot topics, so we won't dive into it too much, but Jacob Fowler got called up for the Habs. But here's another interesting thing that just happened today.
Yeah, I saw
Montembeault has been sent down to the AHL for a conditioning stint.
Guys, the fall-off needs to be studied. Like,
That's
what
crazy.
This is...
I mean, to be fair, he was a waiver pickup, right? Like, he was supposed to be a nobody, and then he had the opportunity to be the Habs starter because we had just all our main guys were injured, and we didn't really have anyone in the pipeline. He excelled at it and, like, ran with it, and now it just seems like, I don't know.
But he's way better than this. Like, we saw it last year.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
In the last few years, he single-handedly, like, stopped us from getting top picks.
Absolutely. No, he's been really, really good. It's just goalies are crazy. Like, sometimes they can go on, like, a couple of years where they're the best goalie, and then they become, like, Tristan Jarry. You know what I mean? Like,
get traded to the Oilers.
Yeah, exactly. So no, this is crazy. It's just crazy that, like, Montembeault was the one who got sent down and not Dobish. Like, assuming, like,
they want to get Monte's confidence back. That's what it is.
It's just, I don't know. I feel like sometimes, like, sending these guys down to the AHL, it's not like a slam dunk for them to kill it, Like, sometimes they go to the AHL. Like, I remember Carey Price had a one game in the AHL because, like, he was coming back from, like, a huge injury, and he didn't have a great game. Like, obviously it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean he's not still, like, one of the best goalies of all time. But, like, it's not like a slam dunk that just because you're an NHL goalie, you're going to kill it in the AHL. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. It's a very interesting situation, but more on that in our next episode.
Fowler is the big question here, though. Like, what do
That's it. So
are we just assuming he's the starter? Or are we just assuming he's splitting reps with Dobesh? Like,
I think we'll save that for our hot topics. So we're running long on this one.
Okay, but people need to know about Jacob Fowler, though.
We'll give a quick blurb. Is I don't trust any of these three goalies to be the starter going forward. I think it's going to be until someone runs away with it. It's just going to go back and forth all around. Although if Fowler plays bad, he's going to get sent down for the rest of the year. Like,
they have the least allegiance to Fowler since he's the youngest. Like, they just brought him up to kind of like save the situation.
They also don't want to ruin his development. Like, he's the one they have the least allegiance to him this year, but they have the most allegiance to him long term.
Absolutely.
So he's the most likely to get sent down for the rest of the season. But if he can run with it, then it's also like the Habs haven't been that great lately.
I know they started
off the season.
They need a goalie though.
But so like it's not like I'm dying to pick up any of these guys, but who knows? You can do worse. He had a good first game and then a bad second game, so we'll see how he does. He's playing again tonight, so keep an eye out on that. Two more goalie news. Lucas Dostal returned from injury and bumped Ville Husso from the starter job. Not much to say there. It was always Dostal's job when healthy. And then Darcy Kemper is injured, and Anton Forsberg will be the starter while he's out. I have Kemper on my team. That's why I'm so
Save the best
depressed.
for last.
But yeah, so I mean, this one just happened, so I just tossed it on. But it looks like a concussion, probably. At least he got pulled by the concussion spotters. He got put on IR, which means he's at least missing the next week. We'll see what happens. I'm not dying to pick up Anton Forsberg. I don't know if you've been following the Kings, but literally the only reason they've been getting any points is because of Kemper. Like, they're losing all their games like 2-1 in like overtime, and it's only because of Kemper. So it's like one of those situations where you see it and you're like, oh, the Kings are actually a decent team. Like, I should definitely pick up their backup. It's like, no, the only reason they're a decent team is because their starter has been really good. So if you need a goalie who's getting starts, then yeah, you can grab Forsberg, but this isn't like a pickup that's going to save you or anything like that.
This is like I see it as the same situation as when Hellebuck got injured and Comrie.
Exactly.
So it's like, you pick up Comrie because you need a hot body to fill up your thing, and they're on a team that's supposed to be good and win games.
He's got a hot body.
You know what I mean? No shade, Anton, but you know.
No, it's the exact same situation. That's a great way to put it.
It's got to fill up your goalie spot, but not gonna excel. You're more reaping the rewards of the team as opposed to his quality.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to what everyone is waiting for, which is the Would You Rathers.
The Would You Rathers. So today I'm going to try to split the difference between me and Josh, but that's very hard because usually Josh, we're always on the same side about everything.
Yeah.
So, Jakey, we miss you a little bit.
It's always hard to split the difference, but it's definitely harder between me and you than between me and Jakey.
Yeah. I feel like with Jakey, I just have to put one of his players on. He's always going to pick him. So.
Alexi Protas or Connor McDavid.
Yeah. Easy, split the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
But for those that are new here, if you're listening for the first time, we have 5 Would You Rathers. We go through one of every position. So center, left wing, right wing, defenseman, goalie. I try to pick names that are kind of in the conversation around the league right now, so hot names that can maybe be more contextual for you guys, and just try to see where we're drawing the line in the rankings. So, and also hopefully causing some thought-provoking, insight, and hopefully makes you guys have some...
Makes you think.
Yeah, it makes you think a little bit. But let's get right into it. We're talking goalies right off the bat. You gotta know I gotta throw at least one of them in here. Okay. So would you rather Tristan Jarry or Spencer Knight rest of season? I feel like I was generous with this one.
I'm going Jarry. I mean, I know that Knight started off the season super hot, but he was a sell high from the second he started flying, spreading his wings and flying this year. He's definitely gone downhill in the.
He was a sell high for a long time from us. We were telling you guys like he cannot keep this up, guys. I know it's been like 2 months, but he cannot keep this up.
Absolutely. So he's definitely starting to dip where we expect more. This Bouchard injury definitely doesn't help. Yeah. Obviously, that's only for the next month, hopefully. But you never know. And Jarry just, he's been solid on Pittsburgh. He's the undisputed starter on Edmonton. And look, I'm not saying Jarry's the savior or anything like that, but I would prefer him over Knight.
My other honorable mentions that were going to be harder, but I didn't want to go too hard, was Bobrovsky or Tristan Jarry.
I got to go with Bob on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
What about Lucas Dostal?
Bilo. That's a good one, actually. I like that a lot, and that's.
I feel like it's important with Jarry. Yeah.
No, it's good. I think I'm going. It's tough because I think like Jarry has so much upside, but it's hard to forget that he was on waivers like a season ago, and it's not like Edmonton has good defense. They're a good team; they're going to get wins, but I think I'm going Dostal. The way I see it is Dostal has a much safer floor, and Jarry has a much higher ceiling.
I'm also going Dostal, but I feel like that's where you can, because I feel like the whole season has been Dostal and Spencer Knight are kind of in the same conversation, just like goalies that are excelling on teams that are below average, let's say.
Yeah.
But Anaheim, we're looking at them, and
I just believe in Anaheim a lot more. Yeah.
So yeah, but Jarry, I feel like he's in that conversation where he's like one of the mid-level starters. I feel like at this point, until the wheels fall off and everybody laughs at them. But for the moment, you gotta be a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, we're talking left wingers.
Okay.
2 guys that are on the same team for one of our fantasy teams. Seth Jarvis or Brandon Hagel rest of season?
Oh, Jarvis for me, easy.
Is it just the power play deployment? Even though Carolina just gets no power play points?
You know that I'm a power play slut, but...
Yes, I am also the same.
That's a big part of it, for sure. I just think everything Hagel's been doing is unsustainable. I think that
But
look,
Jarvis
I
hasn't
think
been like firing on
no,
all cylinders either. So
yeah, I mean Jarvis has been a buy low and Hagel has been a sell high.
hmm
The way I see things shaking out is Hagel gets 1 point per game, maybe 1.1 over the course of the season with pretty much 0 power play points. And then Jarvis gets also 1 to 1.1, but with power play points. So let's say similar points, power play point edge goes to Jarvis, then Jarvis hits
Do
more.
you know how many power play points Jarvis has this season?
I know Carolina is an
Do you
awful
know
power play.
how many power play points he has on the season?
Okay, well I feel like it's something
It's
ridiculously
it's
low.
week 11.
Yeah, 10?
10? Go try again.
5?
Try again.
3?
Try again.
1?
He's got 2.
Ah.
He's got 2 power play points on the season. Guess how many shorthanded points he has on the season?
2?
Yes. Isn't that crazy when you think about
That's
it?
actually, yeah, that's nuts for someone who's a lock on power play 1 to have that few power play points. But Carolina has an awful power play, so okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
he has the edge because he's on there, as opposed
Brendan
to
Hagel
Hagel.
has 4 power play points this season.
I know, which is nuts. I'm still giving Jarvis the edge on power play points, but maybe it's not as big of a difference. And then I think Jarvis has the hits advantage over Hagel.
Yeah.
And then the
shots are definitely
similar.
close. The shots are close, but Hagel's got more
And then
points.
Jarvis has the triple eligibility, but that's getting more into the weeds. They both have the same playoff.
They're both left wing, right wing eligible.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
Look, honestly, at first to me it was a slam dunk, but actually it's a lot closer than I think. I'm still leaning Jarvis. I just think that he only has up to go from here, and Hagel only has to go down from here. So even though it's super similar right now, by the end of the season it won't be as similar.
Yeah, the Carolina power play needs to be studied by professionals first of all. But I'm with you. I'm on the Jarvis side.
Who are not currently running it.
Yes, please. But no. Obviously, I'm also on the Jarvis side. I just feel like the deployment is like he has 2 power play points on the season, but he's never been on PP2. So it's kind of just what are we doing here? Like, there's better days ahead, obviously, even if they're not going to be one of the best power plays in the league.
Yeah.
Hagel is still a massive sell high. Like I said, I think he's my favorite entry point into top 3 level kind of player because
absolutely
he's playing at a very high level, has a little bit of name pull, but he's been slowing down. We've been talking about him being a sell high for a long time, so hopefully you guys are trying to do that.
Hopefully it's done already.
Hopefully it's done already.
All right, what's next?
Talking defensemen, we're going with some high rollers here. I'm trying to find the line between Evan Bouchard and Jake Sanderson rest of season.
Wow, that's a really good one.
We're talking banger categories, leagues, the best kind of leagues, guys. So that's why I'm talking, you got to take into account shots, hits, blocks, power play.
Okay, so in terms of back cats, Bouchard has the edge at shots and Sanderson has the edge at blocks, and then neither of them hits.
Yeah.
So that's right off the bat. Then power play is actually similar. You'd think that Edmonton is so much far and above, beyond whatever, but it's actually Ottawa has an unreal power play as well. So I would just say that's a wash. And then points wise, I think I still got to give an edge to Bouchard. So at the end of the day, it's very similar. And I know what you're going to want me to say. You're going to want me to say that Sanderson has a better playoff schedule, and so you got to go with Sanderson. And you know what? I don't hate that. I think you could get Sanderson plus a small plus in a trade, or even a big plus because of the name value. And I think you should absolutely do that. So I'm actually going Sanderson.
I think Bouchard is always for some reason, no matter where you draft him, when people talk about Bouchard, he's a top 3 defenseman. It's always he's a top 3 defenseman. It's you don't do the math on who's there with him. It's always Makar, Quinn, Hughes, Werenski. That's already 3 guys. Now we're always Bouchard's top 3 defenseman. So I definitely think that him and Sanderson are very similar in terms of fantasy value. But you always have to think about when you have a guy like this on your roster, come playoff time, who are you going to want to have on your team? Is it the guy with 3 games or is it the guy with 4 games if they're in a similar tier? If you're a team that you're going to make the playoffs, you're playing a competitive league, these are the type of decisions that you have to make throughout the season that can actually influence, how likely you are to win the championship. And it might not be pretty right now. It might be splitting feathers or whatever. But these are the decisions that can win you a championship.
Absolutely.
So I think if you have Bouchard, you could potentially get Sanderson plus. If I have Sanderson, I feel like it's hard to get Bouchard if you have Sanderson because he was drafted ahead of him. They're playing the same, so it feels like you need somebody that's playing better to kind of get it.
Yeah.
But if I have Bouchard, I'd much rather make a trade for Sanderson and maybe make it a 2-for-2 and make it seem like you're getting a double upgrade. So,
I love it.
but that was a tough one. I feel like, are you confident that the Ottawa power play may be better than the Oilers power play rest of the season? It's definitely close.
I really like the Ottawa power play. I mean, that's why I had mentioned Stutzel, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, as my buy low, because the power play wasn't clicking, and we know that they should be like a 0.4 power play points per game type of power play. So, yeah, I have no doubt in my mind. Look, the Edmonton power play is unreal as well, but Ottawa's right up there with them.
Yep. All right, this next one might be spicy. It's
Okay.
it's a little bit of a reality check because if you guys have listened to previous news and updates and would you rather episodes, I don't like repeating names. I like putting fresh blood into the conversation, but at
That's
some point,
true, actually. That's a good point.
I mean, I'm not trying to use the same players over and over. So unless it's been a while and the situation has changed, but this one I'm kind of making an exception because I feel like I've talked about this player either it was 2 episodes ago or maybe 3 episodes ago.
Okay.
But the line is changing. I feel like we're updating our information. But would you rather Mitch Marner or Kirill Marchenko rest of season? The last time I brought this up, it was Tage Thompson, and everybody went Tage. So I feel like I'm lowering the bar a little bit and seeing where's the pulse at.
I think I got to go Marner still. And I'd gone Tage, so sorry, not still, but I got to go Marner on this one. If Marchenko was popping off like he was last year, then I'd be a lot more difficult. But the fact is that he's kind of a buy low right now. So even though Marner's underperforming, so is Marchenko. And when 2 guys are underperforming, I'll go with the guy who has the higher ceiling. Obviously,
and Marner just had
shots,
a 3-point night.
Yeah,
and he also just got
like
left wing eligibility. He's left wing, right wing now. So
okay, that's very nice. Yeah, no, I got to go Marner. It's just too big of a gap, and I know that Marner's. It sucks because when he doesn't put up points, he's literally like straight zeros, whereas Marchenko's like a shooting beast. But Vegas should be one of the top power plays, and Columbus is honestly kind of a bleep show right now. So I do like Marchenko as a buy low. I still really like him, but I think Marner's too high.
On the season, Marner's at 1.03. Marchenko's at 0.93. So Marner's actually has the edge on points over the season on average, but Marchenko has more power play points, 0.36. Marner's at 0.23. And the shots, Marchenko almost doubles him. It's like 1.7 to like 3.2. So the shots are honestly like a big question. Is just do we expect the gap in points to be wider than it currently is, and do we expect the power play to be more even? I
definitely
think so
expect
too.
the power play to be more even. I guess one kind of pro in Marchenko's favor for the power play, because there's no doubt in my mind that Vegas power play is way better than Columbus power play. But we love to talk about talismanic, and Marchenko will be involved in pretty much every single power play point that Columbus gets, which is why you see such a high average for him. Whereas the Vegas power play is so good that all 5 players could get involved on any one of the points, which means it's more wealth to spread around, so less for anyone. So I'm still going Marner, but that is an argument for why the power play points might play out like this.
Yeah, this definitely is a more of a slam dunk in a points league, but in a bangers league, like those extra shots are like very valuable for the dip in points when the gap it could be larger, it could be smaller. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Last one. We're talking centers here. This is the one that Josh sniped before we recorded the podcast. But would you rather John Tavares, who's a major buy low right now? We highlighted this on the recent buy low sell high episode, so go listen to that. Or the new hotness Joel Eriksson Ek, who is now playing with Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, I mean, not to be the type of guy to just buy into the hype, but I got to go with Eriksson Ek here. The way I see it, backhats wise, they're almost an identical player. They're both unreal for shots, face-off wins, hits. So I'm not going to give either one of them the edge on that. And then it just comes down to points and power play points. No doubt in my mind, Minnesota, Eriksson Ek's getting more power play points than Tavares. Look, I think we all think that Toronto's going to improve their power play, and I fully agree with that. But Minnesota's power play, already one of the top in the league. You add Quinn Hughes, I don't see any way where it doesn't end top 7 in the league, and I don't think Toronto's sniffing that. So power play points, I give the edge to Eriksson Ek. Eriksson Ek's currently playing line 1 with Kaprizov and Boldy. I don't think that's going to last, but I think it's going to flip back and forth throughout the season, whereas Tavares is never going to be line 1 because Matthews is line 1. So I think Eriksson Ek will have better deployment for half the season when he's on line 1 on those flip-flopping
Who are they putting line
weeks.
1 now that Rossi's not there?
So
I can't
Eriksson Ek
imagine
now,
Danilo
Yurov
Yurov
was
is
there.
like.
I mean, he's
I
been
don't think
there
he's
for,
holding down the spot though.
well, I don't think either of them are. I think the reason they're doing this right now is they're just loading up the first line. But when Marcus Johansson and Matt Zuccarello come back, they're going to be able to have two good lines. And I could see Eriksson Ek being on line two with, let's say they split up Boldy and Kaprizov, and they go Eriksson Ek, Boldy, and Johansson, and then they go Yurov, Kaprizov, and Zuccarello. So like.
Yeah.
I think that it's not on lock, but the fact is he actually has a shot at having line one, whereas Tavares never will get it. So for all those reasons, I'm going Eriksson Ek.
Yeah, it's crazy because Tavares is like almost always a point per game player, even though he's never line one anymore. Because obviously Austin Matthews is there, but the power play usually is better and it helps. Like right now, Tavares is at 0.97 points per game on the season with 0.12 power play points. Eriksson Ek's at 0.7 on the season points, 0.2 power play points. So like he has more power play points but less point ceiling. So it just goes to show
that
like
Tavares had such a good season average with how bad he's been the last a few weeks.
And if you look at the last few weeks, he's been abysmal. So that's why I'm kind of like I feel like the points gap could be like realistically, I'm expecting Toronto to be better than a 0.12 right now for Tavares. Like he could get to 0.2, 0.25.
Yeah,
I feel like that's very reasonable. I don't see Eriksson Ek getting to the 0.4s. I can see him getting like 0.3.
No. Yeah.
But then how much is the points gap difference between the points? Like, is Tavares a point per game player and Eriksson Ek's 0.8, 0.7, 0.75? Like, it's honestly close. Given the Backcats are also the same, they both have the same playoff schedule, so it's at least fair to compare there that they both have a 3-3-3. I'm still
I will
like
I'll give
you
the
almost
edge on playoff schedule to Toronto though, because they have off nights. That's we always talk about.
Doesn't move the needle so much for me. Maybe in your shallower leagues it is.
It's a tiny, yeah.
But yeah, like you almost honestly convinced me to go Joel Eriksson Ek because I'm just like hyped about the situation as well. It's just fun to be exposed to this. While Toronto, it feels like every day like more bad news happens. But my gut is still telling me Tavares.
I think that's the best one. I mean, these were all great ones, but that was the best one. I think I see your point of view as well. So that's a super interesting one.
But all right, so that's going to wrap it up for our Week 11 news and updates plus Would You Rather's episode. If you made it this far, we really appreciate it. It means you like what you're hearing, so make sure you drop us a follow wherever you're listening to this. Make sure you drop us a follow wherever you're watching this. Subscribe on YouTube. Comment 5 stars or comment what was your favorite Would You Rather. Honestly, I would love for everybody who's listening to this or watching on YouTube, just we just did our Would You Rather's 1 through 5. Like let me know what your choices are. I think that'd be really cool to see like what the viewers think, and maybe I can split the difference between you guys as well, not only me, Josh, and Jake.
You can do also is you can do polls on Spotify, right?
Yep.
So you can put the Would You Rather's as polls and see what people think there.
I usually put one of the choices, like the one that was the hottest debate. I usually put them there and see who picks what. But I honestly like people comment on Spotify and I love to answer them. But I've never commented on a Spotify.
That's fair. That's
podcast
fair,
before. I just feel like I didn't even realize it was a thing until we like started uploading podcast episodes and being like, oh, people like comment on and stuff, and it's really cool. It gives me another way to interact with you guys. But
for sure.
Yeah. The other best way to interact with us is joining the Discord. So if you're not already in there, join. The link is in the description. It's in the podcast description, whatever you're listening to this, or on our socials. Just
the link
join
is behind
there.
you right now.
Turn around. But no, that was my spiel. So that's it. And finally, you can take it away, Erne.
Bow banger management fantasy hockey podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo from Korea for Jake.